Let's all sit at Granny Marble's kitchen table. We'll talk about the things that are affecting agriculture this Tuesday, the 22nd day of September 2020. Thanks so much for listening to our live stream here on our Facebook page. We appreciate that. We appreciate you listening on any of the platforms that we broadcast onto, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all of those we broadcast on also. You can also check us out on our Down on the Farm website and, again, on any of our 14 affiliate stations. We like to look at ag weather from a few of those affiliate areas. Let's go up to Ballinger, where we have KRUN 1400 AM, where country begins. Today, mostly sunny, 79 the high, 63 the low. Tomorrow, the 23rd, mostly sunny, 84 the high, 59 the low, and a 20% chance of moisture. Neighbor, let's drop on down to one of the other affiliate stations within our region. Let's go down to Corpus Christi, where we have 97.5 Real Country, KFTX, Corpus Christi, Texas. 79, the partly sunny high, 63 the low today. Wednesday the 23rd, mostly sunny, nary a cloud in the sky, 84 the high, 59 the low. And then, neighbor, let's go back up the coast a bit into the coastal bend. We'll take a look at one of our affiliates there. We've got 96 Country, KIOX, Edna and El Campo. Partly cloudy today, 81 the high, 69 the low, 20% chance of rain. Wednesday, 88 the high, 69 the low, 10% chance of rain. And then, neighbor, let's pop back out to our farthest station back west. That would be 95.5 and 106.5, your country stations, KMLS and KPEP. That's in San Angelo, Texas. While I bring that weather forecast up, you folks go ahead and begin pouring your iced tea or your soda water or your cup of coffee. Looks like they've got a 70% chance of moisture, 23 or 24 points, clouds and showers through the evening. Mostly sunny with a passing cloud on Wednesday the 23rd there in the San Angelo area. 84 the high, 65 the low, and the chances of rain drop from 20 on that day to 10 on Thursday. Neighbor, there's your ag weather for at least 4 of the affiliate stations out of the 14 we have here in Down on the Farm country.
Today, our tour of Pioneer soybean development has taken us here. I'm entering one of the growth chambers at the Johnston, Iowa campus. The door's closing. This room is carefully regulated for temperature, light, humidity. I'm in a huge, long, tube-like chamber filled with soybean plants. They keep it pretty dim in here. This is just one phase of a multi-year process to bring the strongest seeds to market, such as the famed Pioneer brand A-Series soybeans. Depending on what happens in here, Pioneer breeders may advance these contenders to the next phase, or not. Most of the soybeans in this room won't make it into a Pioneer bag, but the ones that do are designed to be the best performing soybeans ever introduced by Pioneer. Growth chambers, another thing that makes Pioneer, Pioneer. You'll hear more from me later. For now, let your local Pioneer sales representative hear from you.
Neighbor, let's look toward cotton, see how it's going to trade today and what might influence it. This afternoon, the USDA is going to issue its crop data report. Last week, the crop was rated 45% good to excellent, but traders are waiting to see if the government allowed for any accounting from Hurricane Sally. December corn was up 1 3/4 early. November soybeans were up 3 3/4 early. And December wheat was trading up 6 cents at the start this morning, neighbor. As we look toward beef, we see on the bull side firming box beef values have moved into the complex each of the last 2 days. The fundamental support is likely to create renewed long-term buyer support in cash and futures, bringing active buyers back to the market. On the bear side, feeder cattle placements are expected to be increased in the upcoming cattle on feed report. That comes out this Friday afternoon, if I'm not mistaken. The focus on additional placements and larger overall cattle on feed numbers may put even more pressure on short and long-term price levels. Neighbor, we'll try to update your noon commodities toward the tail end of today's program. Neighbor, now let's take a trip, courtesy of the good folks from the Texas Farm Bureau Radio News Desk. Jessica Dommel is at the mic. She's got an ag update for us, Jessica.
Farm safety and health. I'm Jessica Dommel with the update on the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network. It is National Farm Safety and Health Week. USDA's Rod Bain has more.
The National Education Center for Agricultural Safety has multiple webinars scheduled throughout the week, addressing the gamut of farm safety and health issues such as safety around machinery, mental health, and keeping kids safe on the farm. And a series of public service videos addresses farm safety and health concerns and practices that can be utilized by producers, their families, and employees. More details on National Farm Safety and Health Week at www.necasag.org.
That report from USDA's Rod Bain. That website again is necasag.org. You can also simply search the National Education Center for Agricultural Safety.
Today, our tour of Pioneer soybean development has taken us here. I'm entering one of the growth chambers at the Johnston, Iowa campus. The door is closing. This room is carefully regulated for temperature, light, humidity. I'm in a huge, long, tube-like chamber filled with soybean plants. They keep it pretty dim in here. This is just one phase of a multi-year process to bring the strongest seeds to market, such as the famed Pioneer brand A-Series soybeans. Depending on what happens in here, Pioneer breeders may advance these contenders to the next phase, or not. Most of the soybeans in this room won't make it into a Pioneer bag, but the ones that do are designed to be the best performing soybeans ever introduced by Pioneer. Growth chambers, another thing that makes Pioneer Pioneer. You'll hear more from me later. For now, let your local Pioneer sales representative hear from you.
For the Texas Farm Bureau Radio Network, I'm Jessica Dommel.
Neighbor Hop Singh says he's not quite ready to feed us lunch. So let's head down to Live Oak Livestock, Three Rivers. They're still shipping cattle out from the sale yesterday, Monday. Riley Rhodes is on the line. Riley, how'd that sale go?
I went real good, Larry. Ended up with 1,802 head today. Had some good volume. Had a lot of good cattle today. Had a few new buyers in the house, so had a good market. Thought the calves probably sold 2 to 6 higher today. Calves and yearlings kind of straight across the board, especially the upper end of the better quality cattle. Cow market was off a little bit. They had a little less money on the rail. It's probably 2 to 4 lower than what it has been the last couple of weeks. And the stocker cows seem to be picking up a little bit after all the rain. There's a little bit more activity on the ones that we've been having. A few pairs today, 750 to 1,200 on those. Red cows, 650 to 1050. Packer cows, 54 to 60 on your high yielding cows, 48 to 56 on your fat cows, 28 to 48 on your canners. Packer bulls, the high yielding 80 to 84. Low to medium, 62 to 80. Your 2 to 3 weight choice steers, 156 to 188, and heifer mates, 144 to 176. 3 to 4 weight choice steers, 164 to 184. Heifer mates, 130 to 148. 4 to 5 weight choice steers, 154 to 182. Heifer mates, 130 to 146. 5 to 6 weight choice steers, 134 to 154. Heifer mates, 118 to 134. Your 6 to 7 weight choice steers, 122 to 136, and heifer mates, 114 to 124. And your 7 to 8 weight choice steers, 120 to 132, and heifer mates, 106 to 118. So I was pleased with it. Like I said, we had good volume today and lots of activity on the buyer side, so had a good day here.
What do you know for next week?
It's kind of the same. I don't think we'll have quite as many as we had this week, but I do know of a couple of sets of calves that are coming, some bigger sets of 80 to 100 apiece. So I imagine we'll kind of end up with that 12 to 13, 1,400 next week.
Tell everybody how to contact you.
361-786-2553 is the office. 361-813-6650 is my cell. LiveOakLivestock.com is the webpage.
Ranch rodeos are always good fun, and right now on the line is Andra Wiesen with Family Ranch Rodeo Fest, set for October the 3rd in Comfort. Hi, Andra.
Larry, good to be here. We'd like to invite folks out to the Youth Ag and Equestrian Center for our ranch rodeo. We'll also have mutton busting, goat roping, live music, and an auction.
And I hear there are some awesome firearms in the auction. Andra, tell us how to get more information.
Larry, that's easy. Just go to our website, ranchrodeo.org.
Now, neighbor, we've got a sale today, and Hop Singh says he's got lunch ready, so While we eat chicken fried steak, jalapeno gravy, plenty of Nanny's East rolls, and a cold cucumber salad, glass of iced tea, cup of coffee, soda water's there in the number 2 wash tub, so grab you one of those if you need it. Let's talk to Kim Hagan. In fact, let's feed Kim Hagan and Mike Heller from Hallettsville Livestock. Kim, talk to us about the sale from last week.
Well, the market was really good, especially on the better quality classes of kids. I mean, they were probably $2 higher than they were the week before, but it sure is a lot of difference between a sure enough good one and some of them that ain't so good. But ended up with 24.33 last week. Packer cows and bulls. We had some stocker cows too, but we had almost 400 head of cows and bulls last week. Kind of the top end of the cows, the Packer cows, kind of 51 to 64. Good heavyweight bulls, 84 to 89. Our number one steer kids under 200 pounds, 170 to $2. Heifers, 155 to 195. 2 to 3 weight steers, 160 to 205. Heifers, 120 to 155. 3 to 4 weight steers, 148 to 190. Heifers, 120 to 152. 4 to 5 weight steers, 136 to 180. Heifers, 118 to 145. 5 to 6 weight steers, 126 to 153. Heifers, 115 to 140. 6 to 7 weight steers, 118 to 138. Heifers, 110 to 131. 7 to 8 weight steers, 110 to 135. And the heifers, 95 to 123. Like I said, the market was really good on the good cattle. Had a lot of cows and bulls on hand last week when they sold okay too.
What you got under the barn for this week?
Of course, we're going to be a little bit short with the rain and stuff. Well, of course, we sure need the rain too, but probably thinking around 1,100 and have about 100 cows. But we got 8 little gray Brahman heifers the guy brought in. They kind of weigh about 400 pounds, and they're nice and they're gentle. And we got 20 little Brayford crossbred cows that kind of just running ages, kind of 4 to 7, 8-year-old cows, but they're bred to a Brahman bull, so we'll have them tomorrow. So we'll have a few little turnout cows. Somebody needs some, and them Brahman heifers did come see us.
Tell everybody how to contact you.
Hey, just try me on my mobile, 361-293-4720. Try Mike on his, 361-293-4949. We'd be helped with anything. You got to give us a call.
Ranch Rodeo teams. There are a few spots left for the Family Ranch Rodeo Fest Saturday, October 3rd in Comfort at the Youth Ag and Equestrian Center. It's got an 80% payout, added money, buckles, and prizes. To enter, go to the website, ranchrodeo.org.
Neighbor, one of the greatest things about being a Down on the Farm radio listener, besides that good chicken fried steak we have every day, it's the fact that we get to travel during the noon hour. Let's travel up to San Angelo, talk to Benny Cox about the sheep and goat sale they're going to have today. Benny, how's it looking?
We've got 3,200, which is a little more than we had last week. We'll sell somewhere, I imagine, on the north side of 4,000, which is not uncommon for this time of the year. And, you know, it got wet here a couple weeks, 10 days ago. And I think people, you know, it's a drive to that point. A lot of people are forced to sell a little deeper than they, you know, cut a little deeper than they would have. So I think these numbers are going to stay relatively low. Gosh, I don't think we're going to be looking at anything like we were back, you know, 6 weeks ago. We're getting up there next door to that 10,000. We're going to have to get to 5,500 before we get to 6,000 again this fall.
Right.
Is what I'm thinking. So, and that certainly would help maintain the stability of this market, which, you know, it's a little softer sale before last. And last week we got a good deal of that back. You know, I did a little TV program in the morning before we get talking. I was explaining something to them that I've not seen before, and that is that these 50 to 60 pound hair lambs are bringing within 10 to 15, lots of them within 10 to 15 cents of these top end goats. That's unusual. There's been lots of times when you'd see a 60 pound goat bring $2 and a 60 pound hair sheep lamb bring somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 and a goat bringing $3.
Right.
So that's certainly a change. It appears as though some of these people are, I guess you can call it whatever you want to, converting over to the hair lamb side versus what they've done with the goat deal.
Right. Well, I guess, you know, maybe they looked at the $3 and then the $2 plus and said, well, maybe we need to push this, and now it's evening up. You never can tell.
I think that sure could be the case. Yeah.
And what's quality been like?
You know, actually, the flesh conditions have been good. Other than some of those people that may be overstocked a little or whatever, these lambs have maintained pretty good, and goats have maintained pretty good flesh condition, even through the dry weather. Some of those people, of course, might have fed them some and maybe even put them in a pen for a minute before they sent them. Of course, the lack of stomach worms, which is so apparent in dry weather conditions, the lack of these stomach worms is always a good thing for the sheep and goat production end of it.
Right.
These stomach worms can wreak us havoc when you get into those wet winters and springs. They can work on us pretty heavily. Yeah.
That's right. How about cattle sales this week? How are they looking?
West Texas, it didn't rain grass. West Texas still got some issues. I don't know of any. There's 2 loads of Hereford cows that are coming that I know of. We actually have a special cow sale on the 8th of October, and I've got a couple consignments for that already. Actually, there was one that got rained out the last sale. There's 25 Brangus Angus cross coming 2-year-olds, and then there's a set of Brangus, 25 Brangus in that group too that have been running with low birth weight Angus bulls. Another deal, 75 head of Angus, Brangus, and Brayford type cows, kind of middle-aged cows that are bred to semi-Angus bull. And about a third of those will be pairs, the rest of them will pregnancy test. So, there's still going to be some West Texas cattle coming. That's where we gather lots of ours from, the Western Territory. And there's some of those people that are certainly, they're in a position where they've got to, at least, kind of lighten up some of that country. And so that's what we've seen a good bit of here in the last, 4 weeks or so is some of those bigger deals of, sure enough, West Texas cows. And most of them have been, kind of lighter bred and running age cows, kind of, 6 to 8 year olds. So it's not that we're selling out they're not selling their 2 and 3 year olds and, and quitting.
Yeah, I understand. Well, tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
Well, they can call me on my mobile. It's 325-234-4277. Office, same area code, 653-3371, or they can always look at the web, which is producersandcargyle.com.
These who masquerade as bureaucrats and do-gooders are conspiring to strip you of your water rights, your property rights, and your land, all in the name of progress. Join the fight and join the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association. We work nonstop to protect ranching families. Join TSCRA and safeguard your rights and property and America's most iconic way of life. For more information, call 800-242-7820 or go to www.tscra.org. Neighbor, I just got word from Henry Pickett from Abilene Livestock. Said he's short of help up there today at Abilene for the sale, so I've sent the cowboys up there. They've already eaten. They're halfway there already. Henry, while you get the cowboys put to work, tell us what you expect today in Abilene.
Last night we ended up with about 600 cattle on the yard, 200 cows. We're expecting to get 800 to 1,000. It's starting to rain again up here. Looks like it's going to be a pretty good day.
Good deal. How much rain have you had?
Oh, anywhere from 3 to some places have reported up to 12, 13 inches the past week. This morning it's probably just drizzling around.
Right. That's been 2 years in a row where y'all have lucked out and caught over half of 2 years' rainfall in a short period of time, hadn't it?
Kind of sets us up good to get this wheat in the ground, and then what little wheat was in the ground, it's already up and looking good if the army worms don't take over.
I understand. Well, we'll let you get to your rat killing today. Y'all have a good sale. In the meantime, remind people about the special coming in October, and then tell us how to get a hold of you.
October 20th will be our first wean calf sale. It'll be in conjunction with our regular sale, and I can be contacted at the barn at 325-673-7865, or my cell number is 940-733-8208.
When bovine respiratory disease or shipping fever threatens your cattle, just stare down those bacteria and say, "Listen, you bunch of punks, I'm not gonna let you keep my cattle from reaching their target weight." Then open your saddlebag and pull out your best weapon against shipping fever. Reach for Zactran.
Zactran works fast. It gets to the site of infection within 30 minutes. For more information, talk to your veterinarian, your Beringer Ingelheim representative, or visit Zactran.com. Zactran Gomithramycin. Important safety information. Do not treat cattle within 35 days of slaughter. Do not use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older, or in calves to be processed for veal. Subcutaneous injection may cause a transient local tissue reaction in some cattle that may result in trim loss of edible tissues on slaughter.
Neighbor, now it's time for another visit to the Texas Farm Bureau Radio News Desk. Tom Nicoletti is going to give us a good report today about Texas cattle grazing autumn pastures. He'll do so after this word on his edition of Texas News and Views. Neighbor, stay tuned.
Today, to show you something else about Pioneer's corn and soybean product development, I'm in Johnston, Iowa. I'm walking into a large, nondescript building, but what's inside is definitely worth describing. This is the insectary. That humming is from an environmental growth chamber. Behind this last set of doors are, you guessed it, insects. Lots of them. Okay, here we go. These insects, along with research data, help Pioneer breeders design corn and soybean products to better withstand insect pressure. This knowledge goes back decades and is constantly expanding for the future. The insectary, another place that makes Pioneer Pioneer. You'll hear more from me later. For now, let your local Pioneer sales representative hear from you.
For today's program, we go to Tracy Tomasik. He is a livestock specialist with the Texas Farm Bureau, joining us from Waco. And Tracy, as we do our quarterly interview and report about the change of seasons with fall beginning this week, give us an overview of what the livestock and pasture conditions look like across Texas.
Thank you, Tom. And as you can expect, this time of year, there's a large variation across the state when it comes to range pasture conditions, as usual. And as we've come to expect, over in East Texas, things are wet and grass is growing. Some places are a little extreme in the amount of rainfall that they've received. And on the other end of the spectrum, there's extremely dry conditions over in West Texas.
The Texas Drought Monitor is showing exceptional drought and extreme drought in the western part of the southern panhandle all the way down to Big Bend, although some of those regions did receive some recent rainfall.
That drought monitor shows how bad it was a couple of weeks ago. Since then, as you mentioned, some very timely rains as we move into the last few weeks of the growing seasons for some of those areas. They got some good moisture, and that'll help project them into the fall and winter with improved pasture conditions than what they've experienced throughout the summer.
But supplemental feeding is still continuing down in south central and south Texas due to dry conditions.
Yeah, that's not to say that West Texas is the only one affected. Especially if you look around that Highway 190 area through Central Texas or the southern part of the Central Texas area. They've been extremely dry, and farmers and ranchers have already for weeks now generally been supplementing with hay and maybe even a little bit of extra protein for those fall calving herds as they prepare to get those cattle ready for the fall season.
And then, of course, sheep and goat producers in Texas are also keeping their eye on the weather and hoping that it'll be a good autumn season for them.
Yes, and the one thing that they depend on is grazing, unless they're in a more concentrated production scheme. So grass and forage production is very important for them, and one of the other things that the small ruminant folks are always keenly aware of, and if they got some rain, becomes even more important here in the near term, is additional parasites that could plague those animals as this flush of green grass comes up in response to the recent rainfalls. And Tom, one of the other things that's ongoing this week is farmers and ranchers are preparing their seed beds and getting ready to plant fall grazing crops. There are a lot of wheat, there's a lot of oats moving down the road and being distributed through the fields, both no-till and conventional planting, in preparation for grazing.
That is Tracy Tomasik, Texas Farm Bureau Associate Director for Commodity and Regulatory Activities.
When we moved to Texas, we were like fish out of water. We didn't know anyone in our neighborhood until our Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent came to the house. She was so helpful and reassuring, a friendly face with that Texan hospitality I'd heard about. When we purchased a Texas Farm Bureau insurance policy, we knew we were making the right choice. We knew our family would be protected.
Visit Texas Farm Bureau Insurance today at tfbinsurance.com to find an insurance agent who's a true neighbor. Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
Neighbor, I told you I would check the commodities of ag interest, and let's do that right now, remembering there's a lag time in between the time you hear these and I've read them. So use a broker if you need to make a trade. Don't make a trade based on these, and I know you understand that, but the law says we need to tell you. December corn unchanged at 369 3/4. November beans up 5 3/4 at 10.28 even money. Deese bean meals 341.40 by the ton, up $3.40 by the ton. December Kansas City hard red winter wheat's up 8 1/4 at 495 1/2. Neighbor, your number 2 cotton contract, December contract, is down 1 at 65.23. December live cattle down 22 at 110.37. November feeder cattle down 25 at 142.47. December lean hogs up 252 at 64.07, and your October class 3 milk is down 30 at 19.35. December U.S. dollar up 131 points at 93.81. December gold's up 850 at 19.20. That's $1,919.20 by the ounce. November West Texas Intermediate crude's up 34 at 39.88. Neighbor, there's your commodities of ag interest as close to the noon hour as we can get them. Hey, neighbor, here's a quick reminder from my friends at McCoy's. You know, Western red cedar can be used in a variety of applications, from siding to decking, even as indoor paneling. For folks ready to tackle a DIY project, red cedar is a great choice for decks and play sets, particularly because of its naturally occurring thermal properties, which keep the wood cooler to the touch. That's no small feat on a summer day in the McCoy's States of America. Check out the building plans and videos at mccoys.com and get started on your next DIY project using Western red cedar. Available at McCoy's Building Centers. Go to mccoys.com for information. Find the McCoy's store near you. Neighbor, let's take a look at the grains courtesy of John Tuggle. Call 800-288-4453. Milo through Corpus in September. Deese plus $2, 10.17. Calling Progresso 850. Yellow corn through Corpus in September. Deese plus 35, 404 3/4. Houston Deese plus 30, 399 3/4. And Progresso 790. Hard red winter wheat through Corpus in September. Deese plus 75, 562 1/4. Houston Deese plus $1 bill, 587 1/4. And soybean September October delivery to Houston, November less 15, 1007 1/2. Placido, November less 60, 962 1/2. And neighbor, let's take a look at Texas cotton. Looks like we moved 1,708 bale of East Texas, 876 bale of West Texas. Prices on the low side, $58.99. Prices on the high side, $61.24. Neighbor, looks to me like we've exhausted all the time we've got here on the Down on the Farm Radio live stream. We appreciate you listening on any of the platforms and any of the affiliate stations. We hope you come on back tomorrow for the best darn farm show in 100,000 square miles of the great state of Texas. We are Down on the Farm. I'm Larry Marble. You're my neighbor. Neighbor, good day to you.